Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the most must-see podcast here in the NJSSL. Welcome to the one, the only, the Cutting Redge. We are joined today by three of the most, I should rephrase my words, 2 out of 3 of the most elite linemen in the NJSSL. They have proven themselves in previous seasons. One of them has a lot to prove this season, as does the entire line for his team, but we will get there. But please welcome, we'll
I see
introduce
the
him one at
shots
a
are the shots are being fired early. The shots are being fired
they
early.
already are. They already are. You know it. Our first guest. He is the lineman and one of the linemen for the esteemed NJSSL Texans. He is a former Jaguar. He is a former Colt. Yet to win his first championship yet, but only a matter of time. He looks better and better every season. He is the one and only Taqi Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Taqi. How are you doing?
Walaikum assalam. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor.
We're glad to have you here. That is for sure. We're also joined by another elite offensive lineman. He is a previous winner of the Trenches Award, I believe, back from Turkey Bowl 2021. He was on the championship-winning Lions team last year. He was actually the captain of the championship-winning Lions team last year. So he's looking to make that 2 in a row by being another top lineman this year on the NJSSL Falcons. Please welcome Dubs Mehdi Razvi. Dubs, how you doing, my man?
Alhamdulillah, I'm pretty good, Reg. How about yourself?
I'm doing excellent. And finally, we have a new man to the NJSSL in his debut season. He was drafted to the NJSSL Cowboys by Yafa Ali Khan, who is probably his colleague from Beit Chaim. Because I don't know why else you would draft this guy, because this line stinks. But he is a big man. He is tall. He's handsome. He's a good-looking guy. He is gonna put it all out there on the field. We'll see if it does anything. Please welcome my boy Zamin Kazmi. Zamin, salam alaikum, brother. How you, man?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing well, alhamdulillah. It sounds like Reg is just a little salty because your boy got drafted before him, but it is what it is. People always want to talk trash on the big dogs, you know what I mean? But we're right here. We're standing our ground still. We want to know.
You are. In fact, all of you guys want to know, or all of us, I guess, we all want to know. It was a great first week for NJSSL football, that is for sure. It was a lot of fun games. Every game was fun to really watch. And I think one thing that stood out to me this past week is how, and similar to previous seasons, it's how crucial it is to have a good offensive and defensive line, as that makes or breaks the entire game. Maybe you are, like I said, previous offensive lineman, award winner. One thing, and your offensive line last year on the Lions, in my opinion, was one of the keys to your victory and your championship. And I would say it's probably was a key to your victory last week. How, what's kind of like your outlook on the value of the offensive lineman?
I think offensive line, defensive line, both can make or break a QB's day. So you can from the captain's perspective, you can draft a good QB, but at the end of the day, if that QB is running for his life, it's going to be a tough day for that QB. So.
And we saw that multiple times this past week. There was a lot of QBs that were just scrambling because within a second of calling hike, the defensive line had already gotten through, and that was a key reason for the loss or poor performances for many of those QBs. Speaking of defensive linemen, top defensive lineman and a top, pass rusher in Taqi Khan, Taqi, I know you're gunning for that most sacks this year award. And actually, fun fact, Akbar was actually supposed to be on the podcast, but didn't actually get back to me, so we took Zamin instead. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Akbar's right now the leader for that sacks award. But what's kind of like your mindset in the role of defensive lineman on your team, Taqi?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to kind of take it back a little bit, I'm not really gunning for, top defensive lineman or stats per se. It's been a couple years in the making, and I'm just chasing that ring, man. I want that ring. I think, just to piggyback off of what Dub said, defensive and offensive, I think it's one of the hardest positions, just because there's a lot more body strength involved. I mean, as a wide receiver per se, you're using your legs. You're just running out there. Versus there's a whole guy in front of me, and usually defensive linemen or offensive linemen, they're not small. They're big guys, so you have to use a lot of your strength. So you're exerting a lot of energy at that time. But yeah, nonetheless, I want that ring. So kudos to Akbar. But that's not what I'm gunning for.
Inshallah. Well, maybe Akbar will get it. Maybe somebody on his team will get it. Maybe it'll be Zamin. Zamin, I will say, in your first week of NJSSL football, right? I think you were primarily a tight end, but also kind of played on the line as well. What did you notice in your first experience of like how important being an offensive defensive lineman was?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, first week at NJSSL, I played a little bit of whatever the team needed, kind of. I was starting at tight end. We worked some blocking schemes in, but kind of needed to open up the center position for Prof a little bit so he could get a little bit of time outside as well. So I moved over there for a little bit. Shabir actually played a little center. So we were kind of swapping around spots a little bit on that O line, trying to find something that works game time, but I think right now, as evident kind of by the game that we played, O line is one of our biggest, building points that we need to focus on, and it definitely,
Really?
Yeah, yeah. There's no shame in admitting it, and to be honest, it was mainly a depth issue. I think on week one, we weren't with a lot of our main guys. Like Murtaza Zaidi is going to be playing on our team, and I know he can hold it down on the O line, and we're going to have a few people coming in that, maybe weren't available week one, and I think we'll show out. I think, everybody's so focused on that O line, and it's because we were supposed to be, a high flying offense that came into, the season scoring a lot of points. We got a lot of outside threats. But I mean, the weather wasn't really favoring a lot of like long passes that day anyways. The wind kind of picked up by the time that we played our game. So it was kind of hard to air it out for both quarterbacks. Our defense actually didn't even let up a point. The one touchdown was a pick six. So it's like, defense is holding it down as well. And you can never, say enough about that, right? If they can't score, then they can't win, right?
No, that's definitely true. And actually, why don't we transition right now? Just kind of go into our recap of that first week, and why don't we start with that Cowboys and that Cowboys and Giants game, because I have a lot to say about this game. In fact, I have too much to say about this game. So I'm going to go
Let's
on a
hear
rant
it.
here, and then I'll let you guys jump in. But this game was wild. It was probably both sides one of the worst offensive games I think I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, the Giants were playing as a better team. So actually, let's talk about Cowboys first. Since you're here, Zaman. Cowboys line, pretty much every play. Half a second, Hussein was running. Hussein, as usual, based off of last year, terrible throws. Literally terrible. I think I saw zero good throws that he had this week.
I mean, I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if that's fair when he has a. I don't know if he. No, I got to stand up for my quarterback. You can't come at my quarterback. You can't come at my quarterback and expect me to stay silent. You gotta.
All right, that's fair. Trust me. Listen to my whole rant, and then I will be good. Granted, he had no time, so of course he's not going to make good throws. He's got to be on the run. A couple of times he had some time, and he still didn't make good throws. Really, the one touchdown that you guys won, which made the difference in the game, was pure luck. But honestly, it wasn't pure luck because it was a boneheaded move by one guy on the Giants, and that's Omar Shah. Yaf Ali Khan is a lot taller than you, and on top of that, the ball was just chucked up in the air. All you had to do was let him catch it, pull the flag. But you tried to be the hero, and you tried to get the ball, and he just outran you all the way for a touchdown. And that literally, you pull that flag, and that's it. The Giants win the game because they had that defensive touchdown. The Giants' offense was definitely playing better than the Cowboys' offense. The defenses were pretty split.
I'm sorry. Which offense scored more points? Which offense scored more points?
It was split even. Other than that one lucky play.
It was not split even, but okay.
You guys didn't score other than that one play. It was one lucky play, and that was it.
That's by design. Yafa over the top, Yafa, long and deep. That's exactly what's designed.
I don't know. I mean, all I know is that the Cowboys offense was terrible, other than one lucky play. The Giants offense was a lot more cohesive. Zohaib Mumtaz was killing it. Hamza was doing relatively well.
Zoheb played a great game.
And honestly, yeah, Zohaib played amazing on defense too. He was actually probably the best player in this game. And he's probably the best player on the Giants based off of what I saw. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. I have a lot more to say, but I'll let you guys jump in. Since Zamin, I know you want to say a lot of things. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's, fair that, you came at my quarterback saying that he wasn't throwing the ball. I think, we take ownership over that, the O-line. We weren't keeping him clean, He was, running for his life back there. As soon as we did get him some time, I think those throws were coming in perfect. He hit Poppy Muss on a few daggers short when we needed it, and converted a few times. So, I think we're getting things going. Everyone wants to overreact based off of week one, but the truth is, it wasn't a weather day that favored our offensive scheme of high octane and high flow. But also, we didn't have depth at the O line position. That's the whole point of this episode, right? How important is that? And I think once we figure that out, once we get the right guys rotating in and out, we're going to be tough to stop, right? Because who's gonna? And our defense, like I said, still hasn't put up or let a team put up a point. Um, Other than that, I don't think you can call, any victory luck, right? Whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. So we're 1-0. Honestly, it's not the end of the world that we lost or we won, because we're treating it like a loss kind of internally and in our heads. So we're staying hungry. We're moving on 1-0 and keeping the hunger alive.
As you should be, as you should be. I mean, Ducky, I don't know. Did you have thoughts on this game?
I mean, underwhelming to say the least.
By far,
I
significant.
right off the bat, I mean, I thought this was going to be a high scoring game from the Cowboys. They got the height, they got the speed. Hussein played college football, so I mean, he's already ranked number one. And then the Giants were missing a bunch of their players, right? Sharik wasn't there, Ali Sheikh wasn't there, Shazan wasn't there. So
We
I
were missing
mean,
some pieces.
like
Irtaza wasn't there.
Irtiza wasn't there. It's a great wide receiver. Like that's a pretty underwhelming Giants team. But the fact that they held it down and the score was 7-6, and to be honest, like the only reason it wasn't a tie game is because they didn't have a kicker. You put a kicker in,
Exactly.
and the game is 7-7. So I mean, I get it. And Yafa's touchdown, Yafa did make a great move. It was a duck throw, but Yafa made that play happen. And yeah, I mean, Omar Kazmi should have had that. He should have just batted it or just got the flag. But kudos to Yafa because he did come from the back, jumped, got the ball, and ran for the touchdown. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, underwhelming. You have insanely tall wide receivers. You have Prof at center. I don't recall Prof getting any catches. Maybe one. I
Maybe
don't know.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one, I think.
Yeah, maybe one. But other than that, like I don't know if Prof is repeating the same season he had last year with TJ. No jabs at Prof, but I don't know. It was just super underwhelming.
I mean, I think you made a great point that if you had Giants, like if Shark was there, if it was there, this is a totally different game. Like I don't think Giants, who were already much better than the Cowboys on
Yeah, but I
offense.
think that if a few of our O linemen had been there available, that's a whole different game too, right? You know what I mean, right? You can't just ever say that, oh, if this person was there, the outcome would have changed or one way or the
I
other.
don't
I
know.
know
I don't know if
Shahruk's a
you're.
beast. I know Shahruk's a beast, but as soon as we get Hussein some protection, it's like it's game over.
Even
Yeah, I
in the
mean for
times
sure
he
it's
did have
week
protection,
one.
there were ducks. Like bad, they were just terrible throws, man. Like every single
It's
one,
week
other than
one,
these little
so
quick dump offs. You know.
I don't. I'm not. I'm
Um.
not like. I'm not really holding them to this game, but yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, the Giants were not fully stocked. I mean, they're missing their number one pick. And then and Hamza took over. He did pretty well, but
Hamza balled
you're
out,
talking
yeah.
about you like an offense not scoring any points on you. I mean, they didn't have everyone. They didn't have Irtiza. They didn't
Yeah.
have Shahrukh. So
And
that takes
Hamza,
away
we all
two great
know.
wide receivers.
real quick, Hamza, he plays one recurrent role in the NJSSL. He always loses. So if he's the best guy on that team, well, after Zahib, obviously, like
He had 100
that's not
yards, I
like
think. He didn't score, but I think he had 100 yards.
Yeah, I know he balled out. Hamza was
Yeah.
great, but he just classically always loses. But I don't know. Anyway, maybe quick thoughts on this one, and then we'll move on to the
Yeah,
next
I
one.
just my impression was there were just bodies flying everywhere in this game. It was it's a very like gruesome game. Uh, Words flying everywhere, bodies flying everywhere.
Yeah.
It was a classic NFC showdown, I guess you could say. Cowboys Giants, you know.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, I think the Giants line is also something to really be feared. You know, not the O line necessarily, but the D line. The
Yeah,
D line was just causing havoc left and right, and that was missing some guys too. So we'll see how it shakes out
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
for them.
I was trying to run for a route and Asad Kazmi just pops me right in my face
Yeah,
on a bull rush and I'm like, yo, this is not gonna work at all.
Yeah, no, definitely. Good call with the line. Real quick shout outs to both Akbar Rizvi, who had 3 sacks this game, and Baba Yaga, who had some really nice flag pulls, especially in the second half. He definitely got put the pressure on Hussein pretty much every play. And of course, my boy Papa Mus. Papa Mus started off hot, but then kind of cooled down as the game went on. And at the end of it, 7-6, a missed extra point from the lack of kicking of Zohair Bhai, really did it for the Giants. So we'll see what happens in this upcoming week.
A
Moving
W is a
on, the
W.
next W is a W. Cowboys will take it. Moving on to the Texans and the Patriots. So this was a fun game to watch in a sense. It was interesting to see Shaw so off. Like I've never. This was probably Shaw's worst game in a long time. And I think part of it is the same thing that Hussein had, right? Like he didn't have much of a line to protect him. Like he was always running on every play, and some of his throws were decent, and the receivers just didn't get to them, or it was well covered by the Texans. Their defense was really good, but some of them, were just he threw it off the wrong foot or something like that, and he just did not have a good game. On the other hand, the Taha to Ghayur connection now with a much better line than they had last year on the Bengals is a completely different thing that we're seeing. Like they hit it off beautifully. Hyder also had a lot of catches and he played really well too. But definitely the biggest things that I saw was Liur dominated offensively. He also dominated defensively, similar to Sohaib. He had, I think, the most flag pulls on his team. And Taha played really well too. He had that nice 40-yard rush for the touchdown. The shot of Qasim had that beautiful 80-yard pass, and that was the only thing I think that really went well for the Patriots. Otherwise, Shaw's primary guy was Nathani initially, and Nathani was not catching anything. I don't know if he had any catches this game. So it was definitely rough for the Patriots. They need to definitely figure it out. I think their biggest issue is offensive line too. Maybe actually no, Taqi, start off. What was your thoughts playing this game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's week one, so we're 1-0, alhamdulillah. But it was a good game played by us. Maybe luck was on our side too. They didn't have the best connections. I don't want to just say that we played a spectacular game. But shout out to Shojanko. I mean, he's been holding down the fort for us. And with his like plays, play calling, and his guidance from the sideline, it's been insane. Everyone questioned why we took him so early, and it's showing. And yeah, shout out to Layur, Daha, Heather, pretty much everyone, and our new defensive end, offensive lineman Mo, Homes, everyone like held the fort. Fazan, I mean, we all played our part and chipped at him little by little. And yeah, I mean, I don't think this is the end of Shaw per se,
Definitely
but
not.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if ring number 3 is possible. At least not yet.
We'll see. We'll definitely have to see because if their line plays that the way they did this time, and honestly, I think we I have to almost call out. I think Qasim is their captain. I think one of his mistakes was taking Irtiza so early because Irtiza is pretty specifically a defensive lineman. Like, he's not a great offensive lineman. He wasn't last year on the Jaguars. And granted, he got injured, but he wasn't really great last year on the Jaguars. He wasn't, and so far, I've not really seen him play offensive lineman very well on this team because I didn't see Shaw with much time, and so I think that plays a huge role. I mean, Mehdi, you were his offensive lineman last year. Compared to last year, what did you think of this game?
First of all, Shaw, all love. I know you miss me. I think we'll see better days from Shaw for sure. I think he didn't have his best game, and I think that just when you count him out, that's when he's at his best. So I think we'll see maybe even a big bounce back next week. But I trust them to make the adjustments. I think they could use I think specifically D-line. I noticed those guys just weren't getting through. Whether it was like the excellent offensive line play or they were just making some boneheaded moves here and there, letting Taha get free. So I think there were some mistakes there that I think they need to clean up. And then on O-line, I mean, Shaw's always the type of guy that he's got that escapability from the pocket anyway. So it was at times very easy to play O-line for him, but it was at times very frustrating because, you just want him to stay in the pocket. Like, he's got good protection, but he's kind of best when he's on the run outside the pocket anyway. So he doesn't necessarily need an elite O-line to be a good QB. We benefited from that last year, but he doesn't need it. So I think as that Shaw to Qasim connection develops and as they utilize like Nathani and Shea, and maybe one of these days the Bangladeshis will show up and they'll be able to use them. They'll get things going, I think. So we'll see, inshallah.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely possible. One of the things that I thought stood out to me, in that play that Heather scored a touchdown, I don't know what their defensive strategy was, but like almost everybody was kind of crowding the line or like playing very, very short. And once Heather got past a couple of those guys, like there was only like two guys behind him that could have possibly stopped him, and he just kind of outran them and and scored the touchdown. Zamin, watching this game, like what did you think of the Texans offense and their offensive strategy kind of overall?
Yeah, I mean, those guys were definitely balling out. I think I just actually met a few of those guys for like the first time this week, and like I think the Texans QB is Taha, right? And he had like this real dope like toe tap right across the sideline to get him like a couple extra yards and stuff, and like they definitely showed good athleticism, kind of just overall. Heather balled out too. He showed why he's captain of that team for sure. And I think, like we were saying, Shaw's team will figure it out. It's just week one. They'll figure out how to fortify the line. And then, they definitely showed good signs, right, with that 80-yard touchdown. That's like, what you want to see with, getting things together week one and having some struggles, but showing the right things early as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think it's all a matter of figuring out what each person's role is on that Patriots team. And once they figure that out, I think it's going to be, a much stronger team to play against. So we will definitely see what the Patriots have in store for us as we move forward. And, we look forward to seeing the Texans continue to kind of roll with the same sort of, skill into week two, where they will be playing one of the following two teams. The last game we got to talk about is the Falcons and the Niners. And I just want to remind everybody on this podcast and all of you watching, two guys said that the Falcons are going to be the worst team in the history of the NJSSL. And as of right now, the Falcons had the strongest win in week one. And on top of that, had everybody contributed to it. And all the guys that, that in fact, one of the captains was Zaner, who was the captain of the 49ers, who had to eat his words because he did diddly squat. He had a couple of tackles, but that's about it. I only know he maybe had a couple of short catches too. I'll let you guys jump on. Maybe go ahead, start with your thoughts on this Falcons-Niners game.
Yeah, I think it's another case of like better days ahead for the Niners. They're too talented to be down for too long. I think ZJ especially, he struggles a little bit when he hasn't played for a while. I think that's why he struggled in like the Mad Bulls, and we struggled this week, and then I think we just had a good game plan for him too. I think that compounded with with the typical off the bye week, CJ struggles. Just made things tough for them. They do have good leadership on the team. Otherwise, I think Shabby Bay, he's not going to let this team waste its talent. Especially he put in a lot of work in the off season. I know in the gym, he was sending us pictures in the Lions chat. It's like him working out, going crazy. So I know that he's very invested and wants to succeed this season, and they'll find a way. But yeah, I mean, we got the better of them this week. A shout out to the team, especially the rotations. And I think guys like Morez and Aliyat Brabdi, these guys that are like playing for the first time. Shout out to my guy Mehdi Razvi too. We got a sack in there on ZJ. So I think we utilized our rotations well as the starters well. So I think it was a good week for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of Shabby play, as you mentioned earlier, watching this game, I thought that our offensive line and really our defensive line both outplayed their offensive and defensive line. And Shelby was probably one of the first linemen to be drafted, but I don't think he really lived up to that. Taqi, as a guy who played against him last year, and as a guy who just has seen other good linemen, has been a great lineman. What do you think that he kind of went too early? Do you think that he could have made a bigger impact on this game? Do you think that the line could have made a bigger impact? Just to remind everyone, CJ had 3 picks in this game, one to ZM and 2 to Valley. One of them was for a pick 6.
Yeah. So first of all, biggest surprise this week was that game for me. And I'll answer your question in a second, but those NJSSL pictures by Shaw Studios where ZJ's pointing to ZJ sucks, and then about these silence in the crowd. I mean, it showed this week, which was like pretty crazy. I don't think Shabby went too early. Playing against him last year, if he grabs you, if he gets you, he gets you. You're not going past him. He's a brick wall. I think youth plays a huge role, though. I mean, once you have speed, if someone can get past, strength may not matter at that point, because at that point you're just trying to catch. You're not really playing the blocking role. So I don't think he went early. I think he's definitely going to have a lot better games, and I think they're definitely going to work on this and get back to it. They're a really strong team. But this was definitely not expected. Not like this way. I thought it was going to be a little closer, and I thought the Niners would take it, but I didn't expect a blowout like this.
To be quite honest, and this is my own team, I didn't even expect a blowout like that because, I played with Zan Mumtaz last year, and I definitely doubted him more than I do now. I based off of the way he played last year, he went out there and had a phenomenal game last week. And I think the big difference is that last year on the Chiefs, we really didn't have nearly as good of an offensive line as we do here on the Falcons. And I think Zan Mumtaz is much more confident. He's much more comfortable. He has time to make decisions. And it showed, he made great passes, and he only played half the game. That's the other thing. Even Uddy at quarterback had a passing touchdown. So when Zan went out, Uddy picked up kind of right where he left off. Zamin, I don't know if you got a chance to catch this game, but what was kind of some of your standout, thoughts and feelings about it?
Yeah, I was able to catch a little bit, and I think it sums up in like two things, right? One is, as Stucky said, you guys read the jersey. ZJ sucks, right? It's like plain and simple. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, love you, ZJ. He balled out. He had like an 80-yard touchdown. So once again, I think it's just week 1 kind of stuff. As Mehdi was saying, kind of just like a little bit of rust on ZJ's shoulder, threw a few picks, but he definitely showed out his Joffrey athleticism, right? 80-yard touchdown. They'll figure it out one way or another. They got the say of genetics, right? They got it all going for them. They're gonna ball out always, and so they'll figure that out. And then the second thing is always the underdog always fights back, right? So everybody talked trash about the Falcons, myself included. People were saying they're gonna go 0-4. All in this stuff, or 0-5, sorry. But, if you talk that much trash on any team, they're going to come back and punch the person in the mouth, right? They're going to come and play with aggression. They're going to come fired up and ready to play. And I think that was the two things, right? Just rust on the 49ers and then the fire birthed in the Falcons.
I think I might have been the only guy that was high on the Falcons this year. Like
Yeah.
I thought we actually had a pretty good team, post draft, but maybe it was just me.
I think line played huge. I mean, huge game. Considering this is
Shout
his
out
fourth
Wally.
line.
Wally had a hell of a game too.
Hell of a
Amazing
game.
game.
Yeah.
Amazing
Yeah.
game.
But I mean, the differences in lines played like a massive role. I mean, their line was non-existent, and you guys held the fort. So
Yeah, I think definitely Razan Merchant needs to be shouted out too, because I think
Oh, yeah.
he plays amazing on both offensive and defensive
yeah,
line.
he's
Because
scary.
he's got speed, he's got strength, and he's quick enough to kind of like push off any really defender on an offensive line. It makes a huge difference, and I think he got a sack during the game too. So he's just kind of a fire player.
All
And
merchants are natural born leaders as well. That's why we got two of them.
That there you go. There you go. There you go. The one thing I was gonna say is you pointed out that 66-yard touchdown run by ZJ. So that was definitely impressive. I think like everybody missed the tackle on him, because he broke. He just got past guys so well. And then the other thing is, 2 years ago when he was on the Panthers went 0-2, and then won 3 games straight to take the first place in the division or in the league at the end of the season. So certainly the 49ers, which is a lot of that same Panthers team, could very well do that too. But this was only week 1, folks. And I think with that, we have to give some. I know Shah gave out a bunch of awards to week 1 top players. I think we have to also point out a lot of week 1 rankings and players as well. So post week 1, I'm going to share my screen here, but we're going to do one at a time. First, we're going to start off with what I think are the team power rankings, as in where, not necessarily the standings, but basically who is the best teams to the worst teams based off of the week 1 performances. Give me
Oh,
one
Lord.
second. And you're not gonna like this, Zamin. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna like this.
I knew before I even signed up for this podcast that I wasn't gonna like it. Also, while you pull this up, I have a point of beef with you, Reg, here. They asked you who's Zamin Kazmi, and we've known each other for, at least 10 years, maybe closer to 12 or 13. The only thing you could think to say was he's Raza Kazmi's brother. Shout out Razkaz, big bro, always. But, after 10 years of friendship, you can't think of anything else to, describe me.
Because I was always more closer to your brother, in terms of the
No,
friendship.
yeah, it's fair, but I was.
But but anyways, so going back to the power rankings, so inevitably Patriots, rough line. They couldn't really get much of an offense going. They got one lucky play with Qasim where the defense kind of broke down, and defensively they couldn't stop the Texans. So I had them in last. The 49ers, similar situation. They just couldn't get much going really. I still have a feeling that they, are a little bit stronger. I think they just kind of need, both teams really just need to figure it out a little bit. I know this team is 1-0, but I still think it was luck that this team is 1-0. So therefore, in the number 4 spot, we got the Cowboys. I think honestly, the Giants are just a better team based off of what I saw against them. I'm going to go through this list and then, feel free to throw your thoughts in there and we'll start with Simon. But, honestly, again, like you take out that one play or you just take Hamza or Omar just pulling that flag, then that's it. That touchdown is Cowboys would have 0 points against the Giants that's missing half their team. So I don't know. The Giants, again, like they were much more cohesive as a unit. Ken made that huge, mistake of throwing. They were driving. They had a pick right in the red zone, but then next play, pick 6. So I'm still high on the Giants. I think they're going to be well. I'm still high on the Cowboys too, but just we'll see. I think they need some time to figure it out. Texans, I think played super well. They have an excellent squad. They have an excellent line, and I think part of it, with Texans being number 2, Falcons being number 1, I think part of it is really that line. The line, I think, for the Falcons is a little bit stronger than Texans, but hey, we're gonna find out in week 2 since these teams are gonna be playing each other. So that's gonna be a great game to watch. But guys, thoughts? Zamin, I'll let you start it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, I guess, I was gonna say, recency bias and everything, but you're doing power rankings through just 1 week. I have no debates over, Falcons or Texans first. They came and they balled out. When it comes to third position, that's your personal opinion. You can't ever, tell me what the scoreboard says other than like, us winning, right? Whether it says 7-6, 7-0, 7, whatever, right? We had more points than the losers, right? And the losers
That's
were the
fair.
Giants. And so, uh, it's any given Sunday in football. You can never even just say like, oh, if they pulled that flag, then the score would have been 0 for the Cowboys because you don't know what we would have done when we had our shot in the red zone, right? We have a whole different offense for that. So it's like,
Fair enough.
you can never say that. But honestly, I'm fine with it because I like being the underdog. So I'm okay with it. 49ers and Patriots. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't want to put Shaw last, right? Because you don't want to give him that extra motivation.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys are thinking, we're gonna move on right quickly to the next set of pictures here, and all right. So this is the top 10 plays. This is actually not the one I want. I want the top players, but real quick, we'll give a quick shout out to the top 10 plays. The Wally pick six got a shout out. The Ken pick six got a shout out. And that Hussein Diafa 66-yard touchdown, amazing, great play. Like, it was well done. Yafa played that really well. I'm not gonna, obviously trash the Cowboys too much. But some other plays I thought were amazing. Shaw Qasim for that 80-yard touchdown pass. I mean, it was just like Shaw put it in the perfect place. That play was designed perfectly. Taha's 40-yard run, that first touchdown, like right at the beginning, he broke like 3 tackles in order to make that happen. The Adi Tavali 30-yard pass was also impressive because it was just like he just threw it. It was just kind of hanging in the air. It ended up going to Valley, and Valley found a way to break a few tackles and put it in. The ZJ 66-yard run, like I said, he just got through everybody and made it. But I think number one for me was a ZM to Adi sideline touchdown because Adi caught that with 1 foot in and they called it a touchdown. And so I thought that was amazing. Taqi, thoughts? Anything else you would want to add to this?
I think it's pretty accurate. Again, number one, we don't know if it was an actual catch or not, but based off of the points being on the
It
board,
was a it was a
you gotta give
clear
you got
catch.
to give it to him.
Even if it
But no,
wasn't,
I think overall
hey.
1 through 5 is pretty accurate.
Right. All right, and then moving on to the next
Yafa's
one.
touchdown's got to be higher. Yafa's touchdown easily should be 3 on the list. But I understand everybody wants to hate on our team, so yeah. So
I mean, it's a little bit fun, to hate
Yeah,
on
America's team, maybe not NJSSL's.
Hey, I mean, you could see it right here. I'm an Eagles fan, so it's like
Terrible.
it's never a point of pride for me to try
Whoa,
to
that's
stand
wild.
behind the
You guys see what
Cowboys
I'm
here.
seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's some shadiness right there. All right, next one is the top 5 player rank, but we're going to start from the outside looking in. The big shout outs I want to give: Baba Yaga killing it on the line, Dubs killing it on the line, both offensively and defensively. Razan Merchant, same thing. Akbar Rizvi mostly just killed it on the defense. This is not in any order, by the way, this last part here. Killed it on the defensive side with the 3 sacks. Taqi Khan played a big role both on the offensive and defensive side. He was playing center, he was blocking, he was getting in the face of shots every time. And he also went out for a couple of catches, so that was impressive. Big shout out to Qasim, who was the only guy doing anything productive really for the Patriots. Mehdi J and Adi balled out. They each had their own receiving touchdown. Yafa had a receiving touchdown. Hamza also balled out. Didn't have a touchdown, but had a ton of flag pulls and did really well. But going from 5 to 1, Zohaib Mumtaz, number 5 in the entire NJSSL. Dubs, thoughts?
It's about damn time. He's got, because I told him at the beginning of Sunday, I said, listen, this is your league right now. You better take over, because I saw him last year. I don't think he was actually on the Jags, but he played like a few games with the Jags, and he was on the Jags. Okay, yeah. So he was getting picks left and right, tackles left and right. So especially with the pedigree of being related to Zen Mumtaz, and also Irtizam Mumtaz, and also Hussein and Hamza, you figured the guy should be athletic. So it's about damn time, is what I say.
Absolutely, absolutely. So hey, big shout out to you, my boy. You did really well. Number 4, Taha Abbas. Taha was killing it. I think he had 3 touchdowns. He led the league in, or he leads the league right now in passing yards. He had a nice rushing touchdown. Taha absolutely killed it. Taqi, thoughts on this one? And actually,
Yeah, I
real
mean,
quick,
I don't know if number 4. I mean, I think it should be number 1, but
fair enough.
just he had
Very
100
arguable.
rush yards, 100 passing yards. But I mean, to all their own.
Here's the thing. You'll see. You'll see when we get to number 1. Number 3, Rayur. If Rayur was not there, I don't know. Who Taha would be passing to. I mean, certainly Heather, but one person I didn't see him passing too much. You'll see when we get to the disappointments with Shubber. But Rayur Abbas absolutely killed it. He was killing it on the flag pulls. He was killing it on getting open, getting those nice passes. Rayur Abbas, number 3. Zamin, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he
Zamin.
balled out as well. He had a hell of a game, and they got that dub on the scoreboard, right? And he was a part of putting those points up there.
100%,
I
100%.
honestly think
My
I
number.
think Taha should be above him though, but that's just because he balled out even
That's
harder.
fair. I think the thing is that Taha, he was like a first round pick. Liur was much later.
He was the
So
he was expected to do it.
expectations definitely
This
play
is
a role.
Reg's top 5, so obviously his players are going to be number 1 and 2.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, so here's the thing. Vali Mirza absolutely killed it, right? Like if there's no Vali, there's
Balled
no,
out. Wally balled out.
100%.
he
Yeah,
balled out.
touchdown.
He had the pick 6. He had a receiving touch. He had 2 receiving touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. One from Adi, one from ZM. He was our main flag puller. Like he is the heart and soul of this team. So
He was
is number
hungry.
2.
He was hungry for sure. He
He
heard a
was
lot
hungry,
of
and he
trash
got
talk
the
this
win. He
offseason.
got the dub. But
Yeah.
number 1, I have Zan Mumtaz. Keep in mind, Zan Mumtaz only played half of this game. He only played half this game, and he had like over 100 yards passing. He was like 8 of 11 or 9 of 11 of in terms of like completions. He absolutely balled. He threw 3 touchdowns. All in the first half. Like he played with one play and then he got injured the second half. So if I figured if Zan Mumtaz was playing that whole game, it would have been even more of a one-sided victory. And he got an interception. So Zan Mumtaz playing well on both sides until he got hurt. But as of right now, Zan Mumtaz, you are the tribal chief, my friend. You are number 1. And we look forward to having you back next week to hopefully maintaining that status. Now, the thing you've all been waiting for, and we'll do this real quick, and before we get into some predictions, we got to talk about the disappointments of the week. All right. So from number 10, we have Nabil Zaidi. Now, Nabil was a solid lineman last year for the Eagles, but I feel like he didn't really do much in our game against against us and against the Falcons. Basil Hadar, number 9, and I'm going to go through the whole list and then ask you guys your thoughts. And I might, we'll just kind of do that. Basil had a nice wide open. He had one lucky catch off the tip, and then he had a wide open, easy touchdown. Dropped it. So unfortunately, Basil has to, get called out for that. Abbas Nathani had a bunch of thrown twos, a bunch of just missed opportunities. I think 4 or 5 like incompletions his way in a row. For being drafted as early as he was, not acceptable. Shubber Abbas. I don't even remember seeing Shubber Abbas doing like it took me a while before I even realized that Shubber was on your team, Taqi, because I just didn't even see him the whole game and he just didn't do anything. He was a second round pick, but he was like number 7 overall or 6 or something like that. Omar Shah, is it Omar Kazmi? Is that his name? I'm sorry, I don't even know the guy. Omar Kazmi, my bad. My bad, Omar. I messed that up. Omar, I feel like the 2 times I saw you on this field is one when you let Yafa get this touchdown when you could have just pulled his flag, but instead you decided to try and catch the ball over him, which I don't know what you were doing. And then the second time you had a nice wide open pass and you just dropped it. So I was considering there was a lot of hype around you. I was very disappointed. Alicia, this one's kind of tough. I actually put the quarterbacks in the 3, 4, 5, and then the linemen kind of above that. But ZJ, Hussein Abdi, Ali Shah, all of them like just had terrible games. I think Shah and ZJ both had like 3 picks. I'm not sure if Shah had 3 picks, but like he just did not do well. ZJ had 3 picks. Hussein had a couple of picks, threw a pick 6. And
he had 1 pick, not a couple of picks, I think.
Yeah. And I think for all of them, really, you can kind of blame the offensive line, but also you're the quarterback. It's on you to not make bad throws. So, and at the end of it, I think based off of their performances this past week, Ertazan, Chubby, they were picked as like the first two linemen. They only played half decent on the defensive line, and their offensive lineman skills were just not existent.
Can I just say,
yeah,
all
go
these
for it.
people on this list, we are adding fuel to the fire.
I
They
hope
are
so. That's the
all
whole
1 to
point
10
of the
are
job. This is
amazing.
Well, listen, play well, and then I'll put you in the top list. You play
Fair
like
enough.
trash. How can I put you in the top playlist? Zuhair Mumtaz played better than every single one of these guys. So what am I doing? Okay? Like, just yeah, I tell the truth. That's it. But anyways, so if your name's on this list, be better next week. Otherwise, you're going to be on this list again, probably. Or anybody else that has a lot of hype around themselves, but then doesn't live up to it. Mehdi, Zamin, thoughts before we move on to predictions for next week?
I think you're too low on Chubby Boy. I think Chubby Boy was. I had to block him a few times. He's a tough block, and I think he did hold his own on the O line. It's just the other guys didn't. So that's all.
Maybe.
That's all I'll say about that.
I think that you need to keep my quarterback's name out your mouth. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, it's like I don't think it's fair to throw Hussein on this list. We didn't hold it down for him at all on the O line. It's definitely on us. So I think Hussein, that's not fair.
I should just replace
boss Jack Ertaza. I don't know. I think him and NZ don't belong on this list at all. So they gotta do whatever they gotta do to get in registered.
They tough week one. They had a tough week.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure they will be off this list by next week.
We held it up for Shubber, but Shubber is going to bounce back, and I envision him having a great season this season.
Yeah. Speaking of the rest of the games this season, so real quick, let's talk about the week 2 games. First one, let's do it. Falcons and Texans. Zamin, since you're the neutral here, what are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be high scoring, right? That's what we saw week 1 from both of these teams, putting up, I think, 30-something points for the Falcons, 20-something for the Texans. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Definitely worth coming a little early to the field to watch it, right? It's going to be high flying and a lot of touchdowns scored, I think.
All right. Yeah, I think it's the exact same thing, right? I think this is going to be
if I have to call it, if I call it, I think the Texans, because Taha balled out, Heather with the leadership. I think Texans got it, but you can never doubt those Falcons after that week 1 performance.
It's not surprising, pretty consistent with what everyone's been saying, that we're going to lose all season. But
it's just that Taha had a hell of a game. That was something coming out of him.
I guess the rest of our team didn't really have a great game, but I think it'll be good. I mean, Taqi and Mehdi, I don't know if you guys want to say something. I mean, I think it's going to be a close one. I think Zamin's right. It's going to be the game to watch next week. It's going to be line versus line, and I think that whoever's line can hold out, that's going to be the team that wins. I'm going with the Falcons, of course. Taqi, thoughts?
I mean, I got to support my team. I think it's going to be a high flying game as well. And I think Shubber is going to have a huge bounce back this game. Other than that, I mean, yeah, it's going to be line versus line, and I'm excited for it. I think we're now the primetime game, though. I don't think we're the first game. I think Shah is moving it up to primetime, from what I understand.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Is primetime now? Primetime is now the middle game.
The middle game, yeah.
Yeah, that definitely has the most attendance for sure.
Fair enough. Dubs, anything to add for this one?
Oh, Texans for sure.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
We don't have a quarterback, so it's gonna be tough.
Well, we have the worst team in the history.
Correct.
That's right.
I think both of our teams are from previous podcasts are the worst team in the league.
That's true. Cool with that. Actually, yeah. I in all honesty, you guys did really surprise me, Taqi. Like, I did not think that some of these unknown guys, I think, are playing much. Like they're a good help for sure. And I don't know. I didn't trust guys like Saphir to be very good, but he proved me wrong. And yeah, I mean,
calm down now. Don't stress. Take it easy.
As for you, Reg.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, Texans definitely. We're excited to play them. It'll be a good game. Zamin, who are the Cowboys against this week?
We have the Patriots, Shaw's team.
Okay, yeah. Taqi, go for it. Cowboys,
Yeah.
Patriots. Who you got?
I think after week one, again, Cowboys should be high flying, but I think Shaw's gonna bounce back. I don't want to go against Hussein and Yafa, but I think Shaw's gonna bounce back this week, and I think they take it. The Pats take it this week.
I hope so. I hope so. Maybe what do you got?
I think the Cowboys bounce back too. So I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be both teams are desperate for a well, actually not both teams aren't desperate for a win, but I think the Cowboys at least are desperate to get their names back on the radar. So I think it'll be a good game to watch. I think I got to go with the Cowboys though.
Fair enough, fair enough. And Zaman, I imagine you're gonna go with Cowboys as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking Cowboys for sure. There's no doubt in my mind. I think that it's going to be two teams who, didn't live up to their own expectations of themselves week one with Shaw's team and our team. And I think that both of us are going to come to the field hungry. And, at the end of the day, I just see, no team really being able to dominate over our defense, especially if we could hold it down the same way that we did last week. And, they can't win if they can't score points. I'm sure Shaw will be able to work out something, but I think that our offense works it out even better and, takes the W home.
Yeah, no, as much trash as I talked about the Cowboys, which truly just came because they really we were all expecting so much more of them. I think they're going to take this one, right? I think that they're going to have like similar to this past week, at least one play where Hossein Diafa and no one's going to get it over him, and they're going to find ways to get into the end zone. I think this is where guys like Irtaza need to like ball out and really, prove himself as being worth that second round pick. Like get to the quarterback, Irtaza, and be that offensive lineman that doesn't let guys like Upper, get 3 sacks in a game. So I think that's going to be huge and crucial, and it's going to really. I think it's going to come out to whoever has the worst line is going to lose this game. But we'll see. I think Cowboys will find a way to win it. Then that must bring us to our last game, which is going to be the 49ers and the Giants. So 49ers and Giants, maybe go ahead. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, I mean, I heard ZJ is going to be out for this one, so I think this is and Zuni might play QB or something like that. So I think this is going to be a tough day because historically guys that are playing QB sort of like for the first time in the NJSSL don't do really well like for a few games.
Yeah.
You see like the guys that are doing well this season, the guys that did well previous seasons are ones who are veteran QBs essentially. So I think it's going to be a tough one. I think the Giants D line will take over once again, and we'll see if they're able to score some points on offense. I think they will. So we'll see what happens. So I got the Giants in this one.
Yeah, Taqi, same question.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got the Giants too. I think we in the NJSL we got a Shark tracker going on of how many games Shark misses. So it's 1-0 right now. But it depends if they have a full squad. The Giants seem like they'll pull it off. And yes, EJ not being there, Zunair does have an arm. I mean, I remember from Saturday school, he can definitely throw, but who is he going to throw to? Maybe HK. I don't know who else.
It's Zaman, Ayan, or the other two guys.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, they didn't do much this past week. But who knows? Maybe we'll see. Zaman, last same question.
Yeah, I think that, ZJ being out is a huge thing. And then also, just coming off of playing the Giants, they're a physical team. Every single down on their defense on the line is like crazy. They rotate through too. They have Zohair by, they have Yasser, they have, Asad. They have just depth at that D line, and they're all game wreckers. So definitely a physical game always against the Giants, and I think the Giants pulled through.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be four guys all predicting the Giants are going to take this one. Yeah,
especially if Sharuk is back, that's 100% a W.
I would even say that if they had the same exact team that they had against the Cowboys, I think Zuhair Mumtaz is going to have a pick six, and that's going to be how the Giants win the game. Because I just, I don't know. I mean, the Falcons were just, I mean, sorry, not Falcons. The 49ers were just so bad. Like, they just couldn't make anything happen. But hey, maybe they need a change from ZJ, and maybe Zuni won't throw 3 picks. So we'll see, anything can happen. But and if the line kind of shapes up as they should between Nabil and Shabib, like there's no reason that they can't be a better line. So we'll see what happens. But inshallah, it was a great week in week 1. It's going to be a greater week in week 2, I think. That I hope goes really well and goes really smoothly. Inshallah, I'm hoping everybody has a good time. Any final thoughts, guys? And just feel free to jump in if you have anything else that you want to add. No, it looks like we're good.
I think overall teams across the board, rankings wise and stuff like that, I think they're all fair. I mean, draft day, it seemed like there was one winner in the Cowboys. And it seemed like Wadi's team was not, on paper wasn't as well. Sorry, Dubs. But overall now, after week 1, it seems like everyone has a shot at the title. I don't think there's one team that would just be like is going to lead the way the whole entire, season.
100%.
I think we'll see about that once we figure out our line issues. I don't think we're 4th in the league. That's definitely for sure. And
you got to score more than
just
7
because
points.
You got to decide on a center first. Got like 4 centers.
Just because another team scored more points than us, against another team doesn't mean that they can do it on us, right? And so the fact is still to be said that our defense hasn't let up a single point, and that's going to win us a lot of games.
I saw the ball go over Hussein Abedi's head a few times on the snaps. I'm like, I didn't think that was possible.
No,
Jesus.
Did you get cut out?
Yeah, it seems like it.
You
cut out. You saw the ball, and then it cut out.
Oh, sorry. I saw the ball go over Hussein Abedi's head on the snap a few times. And I'm like, I didn't even think that was possible to begin with.
I know that wasn't me. I don't think that was me at center.
Shabir Bhai was definitely your worst center. I mean, he pretty much snapped the ball, and then guys just got right through. He didn't even block him. So but
by the end of the season,
I think.
I was gonna say by the end of the season, he might be your QB, and put Hussein at wide receiver.
Honestly, that would work out pretty well, just having Hussein and Yafa as a receiving tandem. But we'll see.
Hot take: I don't think Prof is gonna do well this season at all.
Oh damn!
not the way it's looking.
I don't know why everybody hates the Cowboys. I don't know what it is. I understand the name Dallas Cowboys. I hate the Dallas Cowboys too, right? But it's like everybody's hating on the NJSSL Cowboys. Everybody hating on the NJSSL Cowboys for no reason. I don't get it.
But we keep predicting that you're gonna win. So I hope. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Hey, keep us as an underdog. Hungry dogs run faster. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough. Well, unfortunately, for most of the guys on your team, they've eaten too well. So, anyways, thank you, boys, for joining us. This was certainly a great episode of Cutting Redge. If you've enjoyed this content at home, you want more of it, let me know. I'll try and work a little bit harder to get more NJSSL content and the Cutting Redge episodes up. Inshallah, one day my goal is to get 2 per week, but I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon. And then in the meantime, I hope everybody has a great week ahead, a great weekend, and inshallah, we'll see you all on NJSSL Sunday. Until then, folks, this is Reg signing off. Shabba khair and Khuda Hafiz. And stop.